I have accordingly directed the South African National Defence Force to be deployed to support the South African Police Service.
Starting tomorrow, we don't have to wear masks anymore! Is anybody excited?
Our analysis of the progress of the epidemic informs us that we need to urgently and dramatically escalate our response.
Hello, folks, and welcome back to Chris Wyatt Reports here on the Indaba Africa channel. Over 800 days since the suppression of liberty began in the ANC paradise known as South Africa. And here we finally reach the end state, the end game for now, ladies and gentlemen. For now, it's not over. It just appears to be the case. After 2+ years, the tyranny will end now with tomorrow an announcement coming on Thursday, the 23rd of June, 2022. However, as of today, Wednesday, South Africans no longer have to wear face masks. Limits on gatherings and border checks for COVID-19 and the need to be jabbed to enter South Africa have also been dropped. Health Minister Joe Phala, who succeeded the accused of corruption, Dr. Zweli Mkhize last year, quietly repealed the regulations by notice in the government gazette ahead of a planned press conference on Thursday. We'll try to cover that conference if we're able to find out when it's on. Over 800 days of oppression. If I count it correctly, it's 824 days. Over 100,000 fatalities claimed, according to the government, from this disease. That trails deaths from HIV and tuberculosis over the same time frame. Lives disrupted, hospitality, tourism, travel industries mortally wounded. Tens of thousands of businesses have collapsed. Restaurants boarded up or bought out at fire sale prices by the wealthy and connected who could weather the storm with their deep pockets. The founders who built their family businesses and restaurants or the tourism sector or hotels and lodging completely lost everything they had, never to be recovered. So what do we make of this? Let's go back to 2020, March of 2020, ladies and gentlemen. Cyril Ramaphosa told us that the government was implementing a lockdown, an extreme lockdown, the worst on the planet, in which South Africans were not allowed to leave their home.
The National Coronavirus Command Council has decided to enforce a nationwide lockdown for 21 days.
A couple months later, in June, they eased the lockdown and some of the restrictions. But in the intervening period between late March and June, over 300,000 South Africans were arrested for violating the lockdown. Not laws, mind you, but a promulgation of regulations by a corrupt, capricious, unaccountable, unelected National Coronavirus Command Council. National Coronavirus Command Council. Over that time frame, ladies and gentlemen, over 300,000 South Africans' behavior was criminalized. It's ridiculous. We saw the Minister of Police walking along beaches trying to harass foreign tourists before they left the country and arresting South Africans for the heinous crimes such as sitting on the beach and nursing a child, stepping off a sidewalk and touching sand. It's absolutely ridiculous. What has happened? Over 100,000 deaths attributed to this. What did these lockdown measures do? Did they achieve anything? Well, that's a counterfactual. The ANC will claim that it protected the country and saved lives. But of course, they have no evidence of this whatsoever.
To ensure that hospitals are not overwhelmed.
Much like many of their unlawful, unconstitutional decisions, such as the tobacco ban, on no scientific evidence whatsoever, they've been proven to be wrong. And long after the damage was done and the illicit tobacco trade crushed South African tobacco producers and growers, especially aspiring black tobacco growers, only then, a couple years later, did the courts sort it out and say that Nkosazana Dlamini-Zuma was wrong and had no basis whatsoever for her tobacco ban. Of course, there's no penalty for her. Her business wasn't collapsed. Her livelihood wasn't taken away. She wasn't addicted to nicotine and suffering and went through withdrawal because of the stupid, irrational, unscientific, bullshit decision by the National Coronavirus Command Council, an unelected, unaccountable, capricious body that claims to rule based on scientific evidence, yet it doesn't. It never offers any scientific evidence and has yet to offer a single scintilla of evidence to support any of its unlawful, unconstitutional decisions over the past 2+ years. Well, tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, there'll be a press conference. Well, today, in a matter of minutes, it's already tomorrow in South Africa, the 23rd of June, 2022. Now, South Africans, don't get too excited. If you think this is gone, it's a temporary measure.
And further measures are under consideration.
They have pulled back their effort to amend the health regulations, which receive overwhelmingly negative comments from hundreds of thousands of South Africans who complain about this effort to give capricious, at-will power to the government to declare an emergency, to stop travelers from coming to the country with no basis whatsoever on suspicion of things, a tool that would be used to punish opponents of the regime. The overwhelming public response and the efforts of civic organizations like DRSA have forced the ANC to pull back. Now, that would be the surface evaluation and analysis of what's going on. But we could play devil's advocate and conspiracy theorist here and say, what's the real reason why they're lifting the facial coverings and rescinding these lockdown regulations? Could it have something to do with the fact that the party Congress is coming up in December and the radical economic transformation faction and the pro-Ramaphosa faction are at serious odds, and the revelation by Arthur Fraser dropping off audio, photo, video evidence documented for the court by turning in the South African Police Service in Johannesburg, revealing the theft and cover-up of millions of dollars wrapped in plastic and buried in furniture at Cyril Ramaphosa's Pala estate. Could that be the reason? Is this yet more smoke and mirrors to distract us from what's really going on in South Africa? The conspiracy theorists would say that's why masks are going away. It may be a reason. It certainly takes a lot of the heat and attention off of Ramaphosa, but it won't be long lasting. That heat will return a searing, blazing inferno. This, by all appearances, has the look of a thoroughly corrupt, fraudulent president. Now, that's not an accusation. I said that's the appearance of that. But Cyril Ramaphosa's silence, the refusal of the government to reveal the truth or reveal any information to the public, leads to speculation. The best antiseptic is sunlight. Cyril Ramaphosa, the ANC, needs sunlight. And South Africans need to never wear these idiotic things again. For now, the negative PCR test, the requirement to get jabs, all of that is by the wayside for now. This pain and misery, this oppression and suffering that South Africans have gone through for 2+ years was wholly unnecessary. And as you can see, it ended just as quickly as it was implemented and people were oppressed. It's gone. This is not a legitimate government. It's a government that needs attention. It's a government that needs sunlight. It's a government that needs to go. Folks, if you're not a subscriber to Chris Wyatt Africa here on Chris Wyatt Reports, why don't you become one? Smash that button right down there. Become a subscriber. Appreciate your support for the channel. This is where you get the truth, and not a South African voice, but a voice on South Africa that's well-informed and knows what the deal is. So thanks a lot for tuning in. Be sure to give us a like. Feel free to leave a comment behind. And thank you. Help us overcome shadow banning on this platform because Lord knows it's necessary. Cheers, folks. And congratulations, South Africa. Your long ordeal is over. That's right. It's all over. Cheers, everybody.
We are surely going to prevail.